Like right now at 21. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the All Things REI Windsor Re-Up. You got myself, Tom McCormick, and the illustrious, investor-friendly, investor-focused himself, realtor, Jeremy McGraw. What's going on, dude?
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. We are so excited to talk to you about June's statistics. We have some news articles. And Tom, what did we get up to yesterday? Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, we did something a little different, and we're going to make this more of a repeat thing. We went golfing. We
We
had some
did.
real estate talk and golf. And we shot okay, too. Well, you did, at least. You shot pretty well.
I should after playing 20 rounds last month, but
You
that's
played
another whole
20
other
rounds
subject.
last month. Holy cow, you been working or what? I'm
I'm
just kidding.
trying to, well,
I'm
I
just
had a
kidding.
call come in right now. I apologize.
No,
I
no,
just
you're
muted
fine. No,
that.
we didn't hear it. You're good.
Um, yeah, honestly, my first year of taking golf a little more seriously, I noticed a few other people doing it, and it's one of those hobbies that kind of got really popular after COVID.
Hmm.
Never really cared for it too much. I played a lot when I was a kid with my
Yeah,
father.
your dad does a lot, doesn't
Um,
he?
yeah, his license plate is literally one golf guy, like number one golf guy.
That's
All he
awesome.
does. So, you know what? I was just thinking, what can I do in the summer that doesn't take a lot of energy? We were boating for the longest time. Everyone used to go, "Hey, Jeremy, on the boat." It's like it's just too much work.
Hmm.
So I show up to the golf course, play a round or two, have a couple of drinks, head home. Life's good.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
yeah, so I mean it's really cool to get to try out new courses, hang out with friends, meet new people.
Hmm.
Sometimes we go out with a group of two or three and we get paired up with somebody. That's kind of fun. So I met a bunch of new people this year as well. And then just kind of see what they do, they see what you do. And then yeah, I added a few friends and they asked, hey, whenever you have another person, come on, come play with us.
Exactly.
So that has been fun. So we figured, and me and Tom were talking about, we're like, well, what can we do to add more content? We really want to keep this going. We just don't want to get stuck with this having one or two different little things with basically the all things REI Windsor re-up. And then we obviously Sometimes have our we go out with a what group of we do two or once in a three while, and we our get paired up with somebody, events. one or two
Hmm.
But we different kind of little want to have some more things with content, something to basically kind of the give all you things give more REI. back. And we figured out
Windsor re-up.
since
And then we
golf
have
is becoming
sometimes
one of our
we go
major
what we
hobbies and
do
major
once in a
things that
while
people are doing now, and the golf content, especially on YouTube, has been going nuts. We figured this is an interesting idea. And I talked to the accountant. I was like, can we write this off? Like, this is like media for us, right?
Yeah.
Well, technically, we're not a media company, I guess, yet. So I don't think we can write it off. I tried to, but
Dang.
I don't think we can do that yet, just yet. But however, it was really good. It was really fun. We got a few people out yesterday. Do you want to talk about a bit more about that?
Yeah, yeah. So we decided to do kind of an interview style golf session, and we interviewed Milena Simsik. She's also a well known realtor here in Windsor, Essex County, and she has a good social media presence as well. So you can find her on Instagram, I think. And
Great social media presence.
oh,
Yeah, I
amazing.
think she's big on TikTok.
That too, that too. And
Yeah.
we basically, speaking of social media, we actually asked her, like, what are your tips and tricks for social media for other realtors? We asked her some of her hot takes, her pet peeves in terms of
Mhm.
real estate, and we shot some holes and we filmed them. So we'll list that actually soon on our YouTube page. So stay tuned for that. And then if there's anyone else you think we should be golfing with and interviewing, let us know. We'd love to know, and we'll try to provide that to you guys. And I should also say, while we're still on this golf note, I put a poll in the All Things REI Facebook group. So if you're not already in the Facebook group, join that so you can be notified of all our next events and upcoming lives and things like that, or even just to network with other investors, ask for help. But my point in saying this is we're thinking about maybe doing some sort of event based around golf. So that way you can network, you can do what you love, golf. You don't even have to be good at golf. You can just drive the freaking golf carts for all we care. Just show up and have a good time. So we're planning something maybe around that, but uh, again, we'll have to see if that can happen later on in the year.
Definitely need to gauge the interest on that.
Yes.
And then possibly if it turns out to be something good this year, like if we could do a little small one, maybe we can do an actual bigger tournament, get a little bit more competition going next year. So it's something that we're really looking into.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Jeremy, let's get into some articles here and let's get in the meat and
Sure.
potatoes of this month. So I have three selected articles here. I think the first one we were talking about earlier, because it applies to us and a lot of other investors, it's rent control for Ontario, right? So
Okay.
Oops, I'm just moving this to the screen so people can actually see this here.
There we go.
Can you see it okay? There you go. So as of this month, the Ontario government just decided what the uh, rate cap will be, the percentage increase will be for our rents, and they
Hmm.
capped that at 2.1%. So they're trying to meet inflation, right? But
They're
honestly,
always inflation.
yeah. But we know as good as anyone that we've seen a lot more than 2% inflation.
Mm.
To be honest, I've seen some people say it's more in like 7 to 9% when you include certain goods. Right now, the way the government actually predicts, or not predicts, but analyzes the inflation, they've actually neglected to or omitted certain goods. For instance, don't quote me on this, but like they would put something like, let's say, bread in, but if it shoots up too high, they say, you know what, we're gonna push that to the side and not count it anymore. So you don't get a true accurate grasp of what the inflation necessarily is. But what do you think about this, Jeremy? In terms, you're a real estate investor, you have units here.
Mhm.
Does the 2% cut it for you? Because I know
Um,
some people really want to push the rents, and other people don't care as much because they still have okay cash flow. What do you think?
well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your property, your choice. I believe there shouldn't be a cap on things. And for the most part, we need to kind of break this down. These are for properties that are 2018. I want to say like before November of 2018 or
Yes,
older.
not
This
new builds. Yeah.
qualifies for it, right? Anything November 2018 or newer, there is no rent stabilization and there's no cap. So you can basically when if you want to give the tenant a raise tomorrow for $400, you could do that. And that applies to people have asked about ADUs as well. For example, you could have a 1950s house in South Windsor with a brand new ADU in the basement or garage.
Hmm.
That unit would be considered
New,
rent
right?
control exempt.
Hmm.
However, and this is with related to your property actually, right?
Yep.
Where your older units would be obviously rent controlled. However, the new stuff would not. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's
Makes no sense, but okay.
yeah. I feel like too
So,
when you just a personal opinion. I don't know how it will shape up in reality. Is let's say you have an old 1950s home and it was one
mhm,
complete home, but then you separate it
yep,
in two separate units. It never was two units to begin with. So maybe
mhm,
depending on the layout that you choose, you could claim that both are new units because they never
no,
existed. No, you would
no.
still have to say, okay, let's say the upstairs that's always been old. Okay,
Mhm.
I was trying to see if there's some sort of
That's
gray
why I
zone.
kind of
Yeah.
said with a 1950s house in South Windsor. That's kind of when I led with that.
Okay.
So because it would have been, main floor and basement. Now that yeah. So,
Gotcha.
um,
Do you think this is going to push a lot more people to do, for instance, new builds or ADUs to kind of circumvent this? Or
100%.
yeah.
And I think the way we're going right now, Toronto, I think people are just saying, I watched a video about with Toronto, um, up to 6 units on any residential property. Windsor's never too far behind, so maybe a few years behind, usually 2 to 3 years. Um, it kind of trickles down. It'll go to like Kitchener-Waterloo, then London, and then make its way to Windsor.
Hmm.
Windsor's like the NIMBYism capital of the world. We're so anti anything good or fun. Like when you go other places, people go, "Why doesn't Windsor have a good downtown? Why doesn't Windsor have anything?" Because it's like the city doesn't let you do anything.
People are
It's
stubborn. There's a lot of
it's not
red
even the
tape.
city. It's the people that live here want nice things, but they don't. First of all, they don't want to pay for it. Second of all, they complain when someone tries to do something because it affects either their house prices or it affects both in a good or bad way.
Hmm.
People get mad when they do nice things because then it affects house prices. We can't afford to have this house now. And then when you do something else, like you have a nice neighborhood in South Windsor and you want to do ADUs, they go, wait a second, it affects my house and my price, my house next door. Well, not
Hmm.
really, because actually your house price raises now that you
Yeah,
have a
because
property
you're
that's
gentrifying the
eligible
area.
for.
You're building it up.
Well, not
Yeah.
necessarily that. Basically, any property that can do an ADU, the value of that property raises, right? The
Yeah.
land value becomes worth
That's
more.
that's kind of what I meant though. It's raising up so you have comps around you. Prices are kind of slowly increasing because people are renovating. So that
Mhm.
inherently kind of brings other properties around you up a little bit more because it's more desirable.
Absolutely.
Land is a little
So
bit
I
more
mean,
expensive that way.
we'll go back to this 2.1%. I mean, it's good and bad. I mean, here's some things. I've seen some investors barely ever raise rent. I always recommend doing this as a realtor. I always recommend that you increase the maximum each year. And then, as some people have said in the past, and this is what I know a few investors that do this, they'll give some type of kickback to their tenant in the form of gift cards, like a grocery gift card or something along those lines.
Hmm.
So if they don't want to increase it, they'll do it that way. The reason being is if they have ever have to sell that price that property, at least the rents have gone up every year versus not going up at all. Because the
Right.
last thing you want is our goal. And I mean, some people prefer turnover. I don't. I would like to
Yeah, you
keep the
want the
same tenants
stability.
forever. Yeah, and I mean, when you're stuck with the rents from 2015 compared to now, you could be several $100s off, if not more.
Yeah, it's too much.
So you want to keep up. And even if rent only goes up $20 a month, well, $20 a month is still 20 bucks, um, 20 bucks a month a year, right?
Hmm.
But it's still 20 bucks. That's an extra 240 bucks. And that's the following year, it could be what, 22 bucks.
Hmm.
So
It adds up over
I've,
time. It definitely
yeah,
does.
I mean, and this is pretty consistent too. 2% give or take. I've seen 2.1, 2.5 kind of
Hmm.
thing. However, here's the thing though, gas has gone up, hydro's gone up, insurance has gone up. I
Yes,
think my
extremely high.
insurance when I first started was about $1,700 back like what, 5, 6 years ago. My
Yeah,
insurance on my duplex is now up $300 a year. My gas is up probably 10%, if
hmm
not more this year. Hydro, same thing.
yep.
So where they can justify a 2.1% increase. But
Yeah, that
then again, I mean, do you want to go to your tenant and try to hit them with $100 a month increase? I mean, I've seen people do it,
no,
but
that's tough. Yeah.
I mean, I could see it like, I, I could argue two different things. I don't like the government getting in our way of this at all.
Hmm.
But at the same time, too, obviously you don't want to increase it too much. Like
Yeah, you
I've
have to
seen
be
people not
reasonable.
increase it at all, and would let's say you don't increase for 2 or 3 years, and then the rents jump up a little bit. You say, okay, well, I want to increase my rent $100 a month. That's fair. In my opinion, that would be fair. If let's say you're in a condo and the unit beside you is renting out for $2,700 a month, and your tenant's paying 2,200. Well, it's fair for them to pay 2,300, maybe 24. They're not having to pay
Yeah.
2,700, but for you to kind of say, oh, well, I'm now like my hands are tied and I can only increase rent by $20. Like not in this case, it would be $20. It'd be a lot more than that, but
Hmm.
still. Um, yeah, I mean, that's just it's yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't like this. I don't like them doing that. I understand why,
Yeah, they're trying to
because people
appease the
take advantage.
masses, and yeah, you're
People
right. They are
take
battling them.
advantage of it. But here's the thing. If you have a landlord that wants to increase rent, I mean, commercial does it all the time. People buy a property, they try to get a good commercial tenant to pay 4 or 5x their rent, and that tenant ends up leaving and either going somewhere else. Well, it's the issue we have right now is being in a rental crisis where we don't have enough units
Hmm.
for rent, and this is and a lot of this stuff too is an issue because of this. I mean, New York's huge for this right now. They're talking about New York having like tens of thousands of units sitting vacant
Wow.
because the landlords just don't want to rent those units out because it's rent controlled. And it's basically if that unit was rented out for, 2,000 bucks a month, they can never increase it. That's crazy to
Right.
think
And then
about.
you're gonna have a
That's
tenant there
how
forever.
silly.
Hmm.
Like that will just like if they ever if and I'm there's a chance that the Canadian government could follow suit, especially with these new craziness that New York's trying to do. People like a lot of governments watch what other governments do and city councilors and stuff do, right? So in
Hmm.
that case, there, if we follow suit with something like that, that would stop a lot of investors from investing in the area. That stop a lot of building. Um, I
Yep.
would rather a lot more building and then have investors shoot themselves in the foot
Yeah.
and say, hey, well, I
Let the
accidentally
market
screwed up.
decide. Yeah.
Yeah, the market should decide rent and the market should decide how many units we need.
Hmm. I think, well, not I think it's been shown also that rent control actually does lead to higher rents overall, because once someone does get out of the unit,
Mhm.
the landlord's going to jack it up as high as possible as they can to recoup all the money that they lost while the tenant was in there for years on end, being under rented by hundreds of dollars. You know,
But here's the thing too. If they do that, there's a chance that they might not rent the unit out.
right? You
And
have
if they
to you
and
have to
are
go
they doing
jack it up to a certain
renovations
bit.
too? Because if they had a tenant there for 10 years and the place has been beat up a little bit or it's dated, they're not going to get market value rents either.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, um it's a two-sided thing. And at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, it's the way I look at it is that you're completely right. There's a lot of investors too, like with rent control. It just puts, like, for example, like in areas like New York, uh there's people sitting on rentals, like someone that bought an apartment building, 20, 30, 40 years ago, they can afford to sit on that unit if they needed to
Mm-hmm.
because they own it.
They're
There's
probably free
probably
and
low,
clear. Yeah,
maybe not, but still their debt could be low.
agreed.
So what
Well,
else do we have?
this
I mean,
this
this
segue
is,
with
yeah,
rent control actually segues into this one. It's an article
sweet.
talking about the fact that rents are easing across a lot of the major markets here in Ontario, and even I wouldn't say nationally, but it's definitely softening a little bit. Have you noticed this in Windsor at all? Because
No.
I no, I know
Yes and no.
depending on
Yes
the
and no.
quality of the units, I think maybe
100%.
because the high end or the units that are done well by landlords, those will always rent well because tenants can be a little bit more picky choosy at the moment because we're getting a lot more condos online. There's still definitely a crisis, but um, for you, you're saying you haven't really seen anything too major, eh?
Well, I mean, right properties. Let's break this down a little bit here. And
Yeah,
this is
please
where
do.
I'm gonna offend some landlords or some wannabe landlords. And we were talking about pet peeves in that last video with
Mm-hmm.
and at the golf tournament there, or not golf tournament, but the golf thing. And here's the issue. A lot of people just think that they could buy a raised ranch and then turn into two units. First of all, it's an illegal unit. It's a single family house, low density. It's not done to code.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're like, oh, I got this main floor unit and I want $3,000 a month for it. It's a 3 bed, 2 bath. And then I'm gonna rent the basement out for $2,000. Well, it's like, fuck. First of all, there's no sound barriers between units. You're sharing ductwork, you're sharing heat sources. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's nicer than, don't get me wrong, it's a newer product than some of the old duplexes still. But you're trying to tell me you want to rent this unit out for $3,000 a month? I can rent a nice condo in like the most premier area for less than that.
Exactly.
So
There's a lot more
some people are
competition.
just out to lunch on, first of all, price points, and they're like, "Well, I need to because I bought this property in 2022 with a variable mortgage of like 1.6, 1.6%. Now my mortgage went up to 6%. It might be down to 5 now, but now I'm paying $4,000 a month to own this property, and I need to make my money." So it's like, okay, congratulations, you you got stuck hole in the bag and you have a product that may or may not rent out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so to give you an idea, I rented out that same house pretty much down the road, the whole house to a client for $3,000 a month.
Wow.
They don't have another person below them.
Yeah, they
So,
probably appreciate that
um,
too because people want the
well,
privacy and it's hard to get sometimes.
that's the thing. And I mean, what's a good condo going for right now? You're just talking about new builds and condos, right? So we have a lot of builders right now that have these condos and they're fair prices. I mean, a one bedroom's $1,800 a month for a decent, a nice one bedroom condo, maybe a little bit more depending on the location. And a nice two bedroom right now was at $2,400 a month. You can get a good location, like a solid location for about $2,400 a month, plus utilities.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, now we have some new developments. I think is it Farhi? Farhi's got the one on I think it's Damask by
I
Lozon.
I think they're
That
doing
one,
some
from I
developments
heard,
down there
it's
to come soon because
yes.
it's about to pop off. They're putting all the
He
infrastructure
built
right now.
3 or 4 buildings down there, right? I think they did pretty
Oh
well.
yeah, sorry, I know what you're
But the
saying.
issue
Near
is
the arena and
that
stuff.
right, yeah, the rates have the price from what I've seen on the website, it's like 600 square feet. Don't quote me on that. Actually, you know what? Let me quickly just Google how much the rents are to Damask,
Mm-hmm.
just so I don't. Farhi. And I want to out an investor because it's not my thing to do. Because this guy's built some really nice stuff, and I'm excited for his project. that he's doing on Riverside Drive and like Jeanette Bruce area. But to kind of give you an idea, 638 square feet, one bed, one bath, starting at $2,087 a month. I'm assuming that's going to be plus utilities still, but it's a little one bedroom, 700 square feet, $2,000 a month. It's quite pricey for a one bedroom, but a few $100 more. A one plus den rents out for 24, two bedroom, 27. All right, 2,500 square feet here, unit six. 911 square feet for 2,550 for a brand new unit. And it's actually a nice layout with a nice balcony. It's not bad. I was told it was a little bit more. Maybe they adjusted the price points. I'm not too sure. But I mean, this is a nice product here. And from what I've heard, is the issue is with condos, in real estate in general, we'll talk about real estate in general. You can have a nice product, but if you're not in the right location, it's gonna be tough to rent out. And this is what, for example, right here, in my opinion, and once again, in my personal opinion, wrong location. So the issue is you're kind of in a family oriented area and you're trying to do one bedrooms and you're not really near anything. I mean, you could say, okay, well, we're kind of near the entertainment hub of Tecumseh, but still the entertainment hub of Tecumseh's, and it's a sleeper area, right? Everything's gonna be kind of dying down 8 or 9 o'clock. So there's no nightlife. So if you're a young professional, you want to go, you're still thinking Walkerville. Well, you're basically in Lozon. You're nowhere near Walkerville. So someone like that might look to rent maybe more downtown. They might look to rent in Walkerville or some places on East Windsor and Riverside Drive for the condominiums if you want a condo. Because most of the condos can be older. The older folks too, they might like that thing, but the condo itself, the insides of these buildings, they're done to target young professionals. And I mean, 638 square feet, but you have really nothing around you.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a hit. So they have a new product coming up on Riverside Drive, which I'm excited to see. Don't know the prices on that.
right. It's a little bit more
However,
central, though.
that in my opinion, right location. Why Riverside Drive? You can walk outside. You're at the front of the park.
A lot of parks.
You're minutes you screw downtown in general because there's a lot going on down there. But you're not very far from Walkerville. You're close to the bridge, which is important. Like if you want to cross over, you either have the bridge and the tunnel, both within probably a few minutes drive, which is huge. So once again, location matters. Like if I was developing right now, you'd obviously want to be who's my target person. If I want young professionals, you got to be Walkerville or downtown. But downtown still lower quality area. But the thing with condominiums being downtown is that you're just kind of you're lock and leave, and you're close by to kind of the pretty much States or Walkerville. Walker will be the next best spot, and then anything kind of close by. But you kind of want to be on that Riverside Drive if you're doing condominium development. If you're doing houses or townhomes, you can be anywhere because people are just going to drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually you put that well, kind of showing these areas that are hit or miss, I guess, and that's important too for investors to know. Location is important. It's key for when you invest, when you do your Airbnbs. I know you're definitely looking at that too. But if you're super far away from the university, you're not going to get students. You gotta tailor
100%.
your units to the people that you're actually renting to. So if you're doing
Well, here's the
business
thing. I'll talk about
professionals, you
student
need
rentals really quickly.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off there. Student rentals. So to Marco Agbaba, once again, one of the largest student rental developer in Windsor right now. He's building nonstop, like I think 6 or 7 developments right now that he's doing at the moment, plus all of his current stuff. And these units are multiple bedrooms, like 20 to 40 bedrooms a unit, like to a building kind of thing, right? On the land. So think about that. I mean, sure, his rents are a little bit higher, but they're maxed out every month, whenever they go up for lease. So, and then we lost most of our international students, right? But those people were never his target market. So the issue is people still want $600 or $700 a room with shared amenities, shared bathroom, and then maybe a little bit further away from the university where he's offering on like California, walking distance might be $200 or $300 a month. But when mom and dad's paying the bills, $200 or $300 a month for the most part, they're not gonna care about. I mean, the kids are gonna have their own bathroom, better product. So what happened is that now the university area shrinking. First of all, one, because we lost a lot of the international students,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's a whole other thing I kind of want to talk about too, because I think we just had layoffs of almost 10,000 people across Ontario or Canada with schools, with teachers and staff.
Right,
10,000
right.
layoffs. It's
From
huge.
post secondary, right? Not really from
Yeah,
grade schools, but from the post secondary education system.
correct.
Yeah.
Because they were all based off international. That's who was paying the bill, right? So those international students are for the most part all gone. So areas like, I used to, when I first started real estate, we were renting out things in Campbell, McKay, McEwen, Oak.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
we're
you're really
going we're
pushing
going
really
far.
east. Yeah.
You can't do that now. You literally cannot do that because there's so much open opportunity, like areas like Bridge Avenue, which was probably the number one spot for international students, that it can no longer cater to international students because they're not there. We used to fit 6, 7 bedrooms in these little tiny houses. So who goes into them? New Canadians or ODSP for the part. So now you're getting, maybe if you get a new to Canada person, you'll get a half decent tenant. But if you
Mm-hmm.
go ODSP or welfare, something like that, you're rolling the dice.
Yeah, it's definitely risky because those guys
And people have, well, that's the thing,
are
because
usually lower tenant quality.
a lot of these people that bought these properties, they bought them at close to the peak there. They need that $2,000-3,000 a month income that was coming in from the international students. That market's now gone up.
Do you,
That property can't support the rents, which would be maybe $1,800 a month or $2,000 a month plus utilities. They need more,
do
and
you,
they can't get more. So they will try to get their money, and they will get their money, but they'll get their money rolling the dice with a subpar tenant.
do you think some of them are, or have you seen this? Some of them are actually starting to sell off near the university because they know they can't really achieve the rents that they were getting in the past.
No,
They're
because
going to
who's going to
still
rent
hold
them?
on to it.
Say you bought a property.
Well, I would
Once
think,
again, I'm just going to throw something out on Bridge Avenue, right?
yeah. Well, Bridge is a
Small
bad,
thousand
bad
square
road.
foot, if 1,000 square
Yeah,
feet,
I'm thinking like
and
first
it's
time home
got
buyer.
6 bedrooms, and you had probably 12 international kids living in a 6 bedroom home, because that's how you're making your money.
Mm-hmm.
$300 a room. Sorry, $300 per person. You're making $3,600 a month. Good cash flow. Those kids are now gone, and most of those kids want it cheaper rents and stuff like that. So they're gonna find something else. Now they have even options because they can even possibly go closer to the university. Um, so here's the thing. If you were banking on making $3,600 a month and you bought the property for, call it 350 on Bridge Avenue, well, that property is probably only worth maybe, first of all, I feel bad because you got the loss of international students plus the rental license, which it's on a pause right now, but the city did win the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So if that comes back out, guess what? Anything more than 4 people, 4 different last names is considered a boarding house, and they are checking for things like that. People go, "Oh, I'll just do one master lease." It's like, no, you don't understand. 4 different last names on one title on one property is a boarding house.
Even if it
So,
was on the nucleus family, like two parents and kids, that doesn't count. Just
well, it's the same last name, or what the kids would have the same last name as one of
yeah.
the family members.
Okay. Okay.
Thing with
Yeah.
this, like I say, like me, you, 2 other random people living in a
No
house. It's a
problem.
boarding
Yeah.
house.
Okay.
Anything more than four, sorry, like 5 unit, like 5, 6 people living, which that's what
Mm,
it was. Everything was boarding houses. We were just getting away with it because it was because of the rentals, student rentals. Um, that's gone. So the international students are gone. Rental licenses, in fact, and you have to maintain it, and you have to make all these units up to code, which most of these
a
people,
lot of work.
so on streets like Bridge Avenue, is mostly you
They're
hired
probably not
a
maintaining.
handyman for most of the
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Handyman
So
special.
okay, so you're used to making $3,600 a month. So what can that 4 bedroom, maybe one bath, maybe two bath house rent out on the market? Well, first of all, I would never want to live on Bridge because it's a stigmatized street, student rental area.
Tough area.
Um, so what would the rent be? $2,000 plus utilities, maybe 2,250. If it being a 4 bed, let's call it two bath, you might be able to get a new to Canada family and get good rent. But guess what's going to happen if you overcharge them? The minute they've been in Canada for a year or so, and they start learning things where they want to be, where potentially family or friends are,
Mm-hmm.
they'll move there and pay the $3,000 a month that you were getting paid.
Right. Yeah. They're gonna dip.
They're gonna dip because you're then that. So I've seen a few people do these. What they'll do is they'll buy a property, fix it right up, put a couple new to Canada people in at stupid rents, and they're like, "Oh, look at this property, all brand new, everything's renovated. You have two amazing tenants and rent,
Yep.
which is true." But then and my client's like, "Oh, this is a great deal. Like, look at the price point." And then like they're making so much money. It's like, well, guess what? Those tenants are gone. Do you know how to get new to Canada people? I don't.
No.
So, um, when they dip after 1 year, because why are they paying $3,000 a month to live downtown Windsor, which was legitimately a listing I was at maybe last like two
Really?
years ago.
That's
Yeah, it was three
crazy.
thousand dollars a month rent per unit, six
3,000.
thousand dollars on a duplex. My
That's
client looked at my client. I'm
gouging.
like, if you had to rent this to someone in Windsor, who is paying you $3,000 a month? No one is.
No.
No one's paying you that much money. Call it for what it is. And I tell a lot of my clients, I'm like, don't look at the if you look at the rents. If it is more than what the going rent is, great. But guess what's going to happen? If they leave, are are we going to roll the dice to try to get that same amount of money? Because you're not getting more.
Right.
Like if a
You're
duplex
getting
normally
lucky
rents
if you
out
get the
for
3 grand. You're
yeah,
really
if a
pushing the
duplex
numbers.
rents out for 1,800 a unit, and you're getting 24, like it's a difference.
You need to definitely run it way more conservatively in that case. I'm
Yeah, you
right
have
there
to.
with you. But a lot of investors,
So
they see the highest potential and they say, "Oh yeah, I'll be fine." And then now they're hurting because they're actually probably injecting money or very little cash flow.
that's
Yeah.
once again, I mean, it's who you work with too as well. It's a lot of investors hire a friend as a realtor. They do this, they do that. It's what do you know? If you're new, why are you working with a realtor that doesn't know investments? Because
Exactly.
I've gotten phone calls afterwards like, oh, I bought this property. It was like a good house in South Windsor. Yeah, a good family house.
Right.
Congratulations.
Nothing
You
for
bought a
investment.
house in a neighborhood that makes sense for someone that wants to be in Massey High School, that wants to pay for ownership. Congratulations. So what you're gonna have to do is split the basement into an ADU legally, and because once again, we don't talk about illegal stuff.
No, of course not.
Um, an ADU garage because you can do 3 units on any lot. That's the
Hmm.
only way you're gonna make some money now. So prep off. Another realtor I know that does ADUs, he was telling me it's about to split everything, do it right, do it professionally, about $200,000 to update the unit, the building. So on a house in
To
South
make two
Windsor.
ADUs or just one? Because for one, I think you'd do a little cheaper maybe. But are you saying two? Two
Well, you gotta
total?
split the well, if it's a house in South Windsor, you gotta move furnaces, you gotta move hot water tanks, you
Oh,
gotta
depending
create
on
a great entrance, you gotta do put windows in, right? You gotta do some stuff down there, right? So the unit might cost you, call it 65,000 to rent it, plus tax to renovate it, right? That's pretty fair for a 3 bed,
mhm.
1 bath renovation for that's done right. I mean, I can do it cheaper, but that's
Yeah, just
a
you're
long time
saying
of
in
doing
general.
this.
Yeah.
Um, then you got to do legal units, split the meters, which also involves upstairs. So if you don't, and then obviously got to pay the contractor his fees and all that kind of stuff. So call it for what it is. It's probably going to be about $100,000 in the basement, and then and the ADU in the garage is probably another 100, right? If you're
Okay.
building an ADU
Sorry,
from
that was
scratch,
my point. Is like, are you saying
oh,
only for one, or are you saying two ADUs?
for
Because
for making 2 units, yeah,
gotcha.
for both units combined. Well, then you're probably going to renovate the main floor upstairs unit too as well, if that's already renovated.
Mhm.
So
That seems pretty reasonable because I've kind of run some numbers and it's generally around that. And if you're doing the third ADU in the back,
like
that's a whole different
160,
beast.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
160
just
starting at,
standalone. Yeah, just straight up because you have to bring the utilities. You're
yeah,
probably not bringing the gas, but you still got to bring the water and the sewage. So that's you're gonna easily
20.
spend 15, 20 just for electrical and water, and maybe that's on the low side to be honest with you. Um, so yeah, that is tough, but that's always a good reminder then of what you were talking about here is make sure you use professionals who are actually in the game. And for instance, realtor, but you're also an investor yourself. So you have a lot more weight and a lot more knowledge for these sort of things as opposed to just
That should be the
the
number
the
one thing.
part-time realtor. No offense to
That
them,
should be the
but they're more single family house kind of people.
100%. So I have a lot of investor agents that are built like they do development, they do things. And they ask multiple other realtors, like they ask people at the office, hey, your family, if you were to live somewhere, where would you want to live? Like that's the questions like you'll see investment agents ask, family agents because they have more of the down packed of, they have family, kids,
Yep.
dog, neighborhood, school districts matter a lot, right? So you can kind of see what that kind of mindset is. But when it comes to investment, the investment game, right? It's a whole other beast. And like even commercial, like people talking about, they ask me, hey, do you do commercial? I'm like, yeah, I can sell you an apartment building. I can sell you maybe some industrial, but realistically, the commercial game is
It's a whole
a
different
whole other
beast.
beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've referred out a few times because it's a client calls me and goes, "Hey, can you do all this stuff?" I'm like, no,
Yep. At
no.
least you know your lane too, right? You're not trying to
You
be someone
have
that you're
to.
not.
You
Yeah.
have to, but that's the thing. I mean, that's part of it working on commission. People go, "Oh, wow, wait a second here. Um, it can't be that hard to sell and it's not hard to sell a multifamily. You just get the right client to buy the right property and pray that they buy the right property,
Mm.
right? But that's a whole other thing. And I see a lot of you new agents. They're like, "Hey, I'll help you buy investment properties." Like, wait a second. You're brand new to real estate in general. Do you even know the proper areas? Like, do
Right.
you even know
It's
what
very
clientele you're
ambitious
going to
of them.
get?
Yep.
Have you been through the hell that is a landlord tenant board? Do you know tenant quality? Because I've been through the hell. I had fucking terrible tenants. And we've all been there, right?
Yep.
And we dealt with it with other tenants, with clients as well. So um, it's easy because you can just like buying a house. It's like just like representing a regular client. You can sell them a house. It's not hard to do. It's are they going to be happy with you after you help them buy the
Yeah. They're
wrong
probably not gonna
property?
be a repeat customer after that either. Yeah.
Fair enough. But anyways, long story, going back to that bridge property there. So now for if you had to maintain 3,000, let's call it $30,000 a month plus utilities, what kind of tenant are you
Hmm.
getting on Bridge Avenue for $3,000 plus utilities? I can tell you,
Not
and
great
it's not going to be
caliber.
very good. So that's the way you got to look at things. Does it make sense? And and this is the one I'm trying to kind of preach to people now because this is not 2021, 2020, when people were kind of like, that's when a lot of investors were kind of getting the game. And
Hmm.
they're like, oh, my brother's sister's boyfriend, something, blah, 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 bought a property and they made 100. And I had clients call me up, hey, I want to sell my property. And I tell them, oh, congratulations, you made $100,000 this year owning this property. Oh, that's not good enough. It's like, what do you mean that's not good enough? How the fuck are you putting a price tag? You made 100 grand off a property in the villages. This was actually a true story I actually had
Wow.
with a client.
100 G's.
They bought a property new to Canada, bought it, ended up getting a job in another city. I said, sell the property. You made 100 grand. You own it. You lived in it. It's tax free.
Hmm.
Not good enough. Property's going to go up another 100 grand next year. It's like, what do you mean? How do you,
Oh no. Try to time the market. Never try to time
they
the
rented
market.
out. They rented it out. Bad tenant. Tenant didn't pay. Property value went down because 2023 rolled around.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
market crashed. And we ended up selling it for like I think they lost like $140,000.
That's terrible.
They still don't get me wrong, they still made money.
But
They
what
still
they could have in comparison, that's a gut punch right there.
yeah they bought it for I think like 240,000, and I think I quoted them out originally close to 400,000.
Jeez.
But after fees and stuff like that,
Yeah,
they
it
would have
eats
collected
part of it away
100,000.
too. Wow.
So we ended up selling I think for like 330 ish. So they lost about 70 grand, but they also had to fix the property up, paint it, put a new kitchen
Right. Put
in,
some
do a
elbow
bunch of
grease
work.
into it.
Well, the tenant
Yeah.
beat it up.
That's always the
So
horror stories. You never want a bad tenant. That's why you really got to vet these guys. You got to ask for their like background checks, references, all that jazz. You need to check it all. Be very, very, very
that's
thorough.
and
That's a whole nother thing.
that's all you could do and pray that they're still good because I've seen there's people that are amazing, high credit scores, you know, and then all of a sudden you never know. Drugs happen,
Yeah. Just flukes.
jobs happen, or you know
Yeah.
what?
Family issues. You never know. They
They don't
break with
want
their
to pay.
girlfriend and then all of a sudden they can't pay the rent.
Maybe they were
It's
on
all there.
Facebook and joined a tenant group, and the tenants like, what? Tenant groups are, why pay rent? Why pay rent to these landlords, right?
Yeah. That's just enact communism.
You can live for free for 12 months before you get a court order. And then at that point, the
Cheat
landlord's
the
probably
system.
going to get so discouraged and desperate that they're probably just going to pay you a few $1,000 10, $20,000 to leave, plus maybe moving fees. And then
What a
they're
world
not
we
going to
live
give
in.
you and you're also going to exchange that for a good review. And then you're going to move on to the next sucker and live for free again.
Hmm.
And no one's ever going to know, because guess what? You didn't, as long as you could time it right and not go to court, your name never goes on
Yeah,
open
it's not
rooms or any of
tarnished.
that
Yeah.
stuff, right? Your name doesn't go in the system.
Yeah. For
So
those
that's
of you
I
that
I've
don't know, Open Room is actually a place where you can look and see which tenants were bad. So you can kind of
Mhm.
just right away just red list them or
Oh, the
blacklist them,
minute
I
you
should
see
say.
their name pop up at all, yeah, you just run for the tell them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, we decided to go another route.
No, no, you're fine. Let's go over the really quickly the market stats
Yeah.
because I know we're a little bit crunched for time here. Uh,
Oh, okay. Yes, yes, yes. 8:30.
no, yeah,
We
sorry.
t- I, I
I
like the
should I
gap
should have given
from
you
the
a heads on.
yapper.
No, that's my fault. I should give you a heads up. It's all good. But I'm
All
sharing
right.
the screen now. Give us a high level what you're seeing this month or previous month.
Good question. So let's go over this, Tom. What do we have here? We have the real estate stat for June 2025. And we're going to start in that bottom box down there to your right.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect. So these are the residential market activity comparison. This is what we like to been using lately. Just try to keep it compact. This is the easiest to work with. So we had for the month 1,339 listings compared to last year around this time, 1197. So we're up almost 12%. Sales 471 compared to last year's 497. We're down 5.23%. So we have to take a look, and this is what matters the most here. We have almost 12% more listings in the previous year with just over 5% less sales.
Dang.
So that has to be, so it's
There's a lot of
more than
inventory on the
just,
market. A
yeah.
ton of inventory.
And the reason why a lot of things aren't selling right now is we still have a lot of sellers that believe their product is, or their home is still worth it, what they bought it for at the peak or peak prices.
Hmm.
It is where it is, and they will ride the market down. Average sale price 582,131 compared to last year at 565 320. So we're up just under 3%, which is great to see. It's good to see the market going up. Median sale price 545 compared to 529, up 3.02%, which is great. And then year to date, we've had 6,581 listings compared to last year's 5,713, up just over 15%. Okay, it's a lot of listings.
That's big
A
increase.
lot of listings,
Yeah.
almost 1,000. Was it eight? Just about 800 new listings. Sales 2,401 compared to 2,566. We're down just almost 6.5%, almost 6.5%, plus 15.19% of new listings. That's a huge spread.
Mm.
Average sale price 571 compared to 568, 758. Median sale price 532 compared to 535. So our median sale price is irrelevant. It's the same. We'll call it the same because it's pretty much
It's a
pretty
wash.
much is.
Yeah.
Average sale price pretty much the same, and this has been like this for like since 2020, like late 2023, I think, or early 2024. So we've been like that for almost 2 years now, I think.
Yeah, we've just been
So
really, really stagnant. It's
yeah, but you know, want to know something here? This is a very, very interesting time. And I'm not. My background is I'm a realtor.
you're a realtor and
Nothing
you love
more,
these
nothing
numbers.
less. I
Yeah.
invest a little bit. I didn't go to school for this stuff. So this, bear with me here. But
Self-educated, but it's perfect.
this is my personal outlook, not a professional, but a personal outlook.
That's what we want. We
Look
want
what's
your
going
opinion
on right
here.
now. Bitcoin just hit all-time high. Stock market's hitting all-time highs. United States is going crazy. Like him or hate him, Trump's a guy doing very, very well.
The tariffs are working.
Definitely, you know, obviously there's some stuff that got released that like, people are a little bit mad about that stuff, which sure, we're not a political show. However, stock market's great. Bitcoin up a lot right now, all-time highs today. That's interesting because that means that the economy is looking pretty good. People are buying back in. We want to see that. That's good for real estate because the minute people start making money in real estate in crypto, what the crypto guys do, they lease properties, they lease nicer stuff, they buy nicer products, cars, houses, and
It
with you
trickles
see
down
what
the economy, is
same
what
with the
you're
stock
saying.
market. With the stock market, the more people have, the more that we get out of fear. Like going back about 4 months ago, we were in a fear market, like fear in real estate, fear in the stock market. Now we're actually back in the greed again, which is good to see. The stock market, if we can maintain at least this level right now, we don't need to be going up and up and up every month, but we just need to maintain this right now. This will help the real estate market out heavily. Don't get me wrong, there are still a lot of factors including Trump once again, because we are holding off right now on tariffs. And if the tariffs come in, that will hurt us. What's going on with Carney? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he's doing, both good, both bad. Um, the job market right now, I mean, there's talks of new job creation. However, 10,000 people just got laid off from the school, from the post secondary. Also, we have to note this as well. Xbox, a bunch of other companies too. There was a big thing that happened when Elon Musk bought Twitter and laid off, I think, 10,000 people or something like that. They laid off like not 10, not maybe not 10,000, but he laid off like 90% of the people that worked at Twitter.
And they still worked
And
fine.
it still worked fine.
Yeah.
Companies are taking notice now, and especially with AI coming out and AI is improving.
Yeah, they're getting lean.
Um, X pretty much Microsoft's at all-time high stock. They're killing it, absolutely killing it. You know what they're doing? They're laying. I think they laid off tens of thousands of people, like a ton of people, and other companies are following suit. So what does this mean? Well, when you're working at Microsoft making, six figures, that will hurt. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have Microsoft in Kitchener Waterloo. Some of these guys are investors here as well. So, oh, look at that.
Oh,
It's
you
a
can
thing.
do the thumbs up.
I don't know. Is it?
I think
I don't
yeah,
know. I
on
just
Zoom
didn't.
when you can do thumbs up like this. But
So,
let's close this out. Let's land the plane here a little bit. Because I
you don't
unfortunately
like my, you don't like my conspiracy
no,
stuff?
no, no. I think we should talk about this more in depth. I just unfortunately have another meeting I have to hop to. Uh,
100%. Let's do it. Let's
talking
set it up.
about our Detroit property here, but it's nothing to do with Windsor, so we can't discuss that.
I forget that you have partners.
No, no, it's all good. It's
I
all
wake
good.
up and go to bed whenever I like it. I like, once again, me and Tom, two different type of investors. He's got partners, which is great. And honestly, you can really move the needle and it lets you be a lot more aggressive. Where right now, I just closed on my jeweler property, which we'll have a conversation about another day on, but I'm strapped now and
Hmm.
it's tight. So,
You'll make it work.
that's
You'll
all
make
I
it
can
work.
say. Once again, we want to wrap this up with what do we do? We did golf. And we would like to continue this on. So if you know any people in the real estate business, mortgage agents, insurance agents,
Even just for a standard podcast
inspectors,
too. We're here. We
investors,
want to we want to talk to them, and we want to provide
same
to you
thing.
guys and answer your questions.
Yeah, if you suck at golf and you just want to come on the podcast, we have that too as well.
Yeah.
And I think we will be announcing our next meetup. We will
Yes, I think
have
that's
more
coming
information
shortly.
about
Eh?
that shortly
We need to
for
definitely hop on a
August.
separate call, Jeremy, and we'll plan it out.
Yeah.
We need to
All
prioritize
right.
that.
Tom,
But
do you want
Jeremy,
to you
no,
want to end it with us?
thanks for going over our stats today. And is any final closing thoughts, really quickly?
Nope. I think we're good.
All right, no worries, guys. Thanks for joining, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So please like, comment, subscribe, share this around. Let us